Pulse oximetry. Pulse oximeters measure the arterial oxygen saturation of hemoglobin. Two basic physical principles. First one is the absorption of light at two different wavelengths by hemoglobin differs depending on the degree of oxygenation of hemoglobin. Second one, the light signal following transmission through the tissue have a pulsatile component. Pulse oximeters measure the oxygen saturation of hemoglobin in arterial blood. The pulse rate in beats per minute averaged over 5 to 20 seconds. Pulse oximeter measure the arterial oxygen saturation of hemoglobin. Two basic physical principles. First one is the absorption of light at two different wavelengths by hemoglobin differs depending on the degree of oxygenation of hemoglobin. Second one, the light signal following transmission through the tissue has a pulsatile component. Most oxygen is carried by hemoglobin. Three factors will influence the amount of oxygen delivered to the body cells. First one, tissue perfusion. Second one, the amount of hemoglobin. Third one, the saturation of hemoglobin by oxygen. A pulse oximeter gives no information of any of these variables. The oxygen content of the blood, the amount of oxygen dissolved in the blood, the respiratory rate or tidal volume, example ventilation, the cardiac output or blood pressure. Pulse oximeter consists of peripheral probe, a microprocessor unit, display a waveform, the oxygen saturation and the pulse rate. Most oximeters also have an audible pulse tone, the pitch of which is proportional to the oxygen saturation. How does an oximeter work? A source of light originates from the probe at two wavelengths. 650 nanometer and 805 nanometer. The light is partly absorbed by hemoglobin by amount which differ depending on whether it is saturated or desaturated with oxygen. By calculating the absorption at the two wavelengths, the processor can compute the proportion of hemoglobin which is oxygenated. The oximeter is dependent on the pulsatile flow and produce a graph of the quality of flow. Where flow is sluggish, example hypovolemia or vasoconstriction, the pulse oximeter may be unable to function. The computer within the oximeter is capable of distinguishing pulsatile flow from other more static signals such as tissue or venous signals to display only the arterial flow, generally measured on fingers, the earlobe, infants, the bridge of the nose. A pulse oximeter is affected by ambient light, shivering, abnormal hemoglobins, pulse rate and rhythm, vasoconstriction, and cardiac function. Thank you.